Hey everyone! Blizzard just posted a blue post announcing major changes to the Mythic Plus system for Season 2 in The War Within. Over the past few months, players have voiced frustration with how punishing the system feels, especially in pug groups, citing excessive mechanics, harsh penalties for failure, and the lack of rewarding progression. And honestly, I completely agree. Looking back, I burned out faster than ever last season. I have my own thoughts and hopes for these changes, but first, let's take a look at what Blizzard had to say. Gilded Crests will now be available from plus 7 and up. Gearing will be faster and easier, with the best available hero track End of Dungeon gear dropping from plus 6 and up. Also, Mythic Zero is becoming more relevant, now rewarding champion track gear that can be upgraded. To match the incoming power creep, its difficulty will be slightly increased. One of the bigger changes, Tyrannical and Fortified are now moving to plus 7 and plus 10, and Challenger's Peril is being removed from these levels, an affix that many will deeply miss. Sarcasm intended. But before we celebrate too soon, Challenger's Peril will return later, replacing the additional stat scaling from plus 12 and beyond. Speaking of plus 12s, timing every dungeon at plus 12 will now ensure that your key can't be dropped below 12. The same applies to higher levels. If you time all at 13, your key won't go below 13. This change should make progressing much less punishing and frustrating. And lastly, the mount reward that was previously tied to 2850 score is now moved up to 3000, making it feel more of an achievement rather than just a byproduct of pushing high keys. Scrolling down, we have a list of the damage and health modifiers per keystone level, and we'll see the rewards that go with them. Also, the crest rewards amounts seem to scale per keystone level, which will increase the rewards even within the same crest level range, adding an additional incentive to increase the keystone levels gradually as you progress through the system. My 2 cents on these changes: they'll definitely bring some positive results, especially in terms of rewards and motivation to progress. But will it be enough? I'm not so sure. There are still smaller frustrations that I'd love to see addressed. For one, I find the Valor Stone system incredibly tedious, especially on alts. This month, I noticed Dungeon seems to reward more Valor Stones, but the system itself still feels like a forced grind. It has its place in PvE, but giving players the choice between upgrading with crests or Valor Stones would add incentives for both dungeon runners and those who don't focus on Mythic Plus. Also, the change of not depleting a key from plus 12 and up should be released across the board in my opinion. Coming back this season, I've had my fair share of frustration, or rather disappointment, with Mythic Plus. The boosting community has thrived in World of Warcraft for years, but I've never felt my achievements in the system were valued less than they are now. Many complaints center around pug groups and players not knowing basic mechanics or strategies. Yet, this issue isn't discussed nearly enough. Right now, for about €20, you can get boosted through all 8 dungeons at plus 10, which is probably the cheapest I've ever seen it. To me, Mythic Plus is WoW's equivalent of ranked play in other games, and I'd love to see some form of rating requirements to progress into higher keystone levels. Something like a soft gate at plus 4, plus 7 and plus 10, ensuring players have at least some experience and rating before jumping into higher keys. It wouldn't eliminate boosting entirely, but it would add hurdles, making it either more costly or less appealing for people to just buy their rating and their gear. Another idea I've been thinking about is integrating raids into the Mythic Plus progression system. As someone fully focused on Mythic Plus, raiding only offers a few desirable trinkets or last boss items, but beyond that, it hasn't felt worth the time investment. What if Mythic raid bosses were accessible on a per boss basis, similar to Mythic Plus dungeons? Imagine being able to queue for a specific Mythic raid boss after completing Heroic, allowing groups to form dynamically. This would remove the time and recruitment effort that currently makes Mythic raiding inaccessible for most of the player base. It could even be a reward for hitting 3000 Mythic Plus score and clearing heroic, starting with the first boss, then unlocking the next as you progress. Maybe even introducing a timed element where clearing bosses efficiently contributes to your score, providing another progression path beyond plus 12 keys. Because, let's be real, once players reach a certain keystone level, many just get bored and swap to an alt. Giving high-end PvE players more meaningful goals beyond just farming keys could keep the content engaging for much longer. Anyway, those are the upcoming changes for next season, my thoughts on them and some hopes for the future. I'd love to hear what you think, so let me know in the comments below. Also, if you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, because it really helps out the channel a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll hope to see you in the next video.